everyone to the Count of Monte Cristo. I am Tariq Shuru. Joining me as always,
Joe Pachado. Welcome.
And of course, we are joined today. We are very fortunate to have as our guest Mr. Frederick Varon. He's the co-founder and COO of CV Proof. Frederick, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me as well.
We really appreciate it.
It's a great pleasure.
So CV Proof, we were very interested in your platform. We looked into it, over the last few days as we got to know it. So, tell me if I'm describing it correctly. CV Proof is a platform to combat CV fraud, but it's also much more than that. It incentivizes kind of everyone involved to participate and have an honest system where people are putting their qualifications forward and they're being validated, so employers can be very,
secure.
Very secure, yeah.
Secure.
In selecting, selecting candidates.
Yeah.
And it incentivizes everyone, so it really pushes honesty in the $200 billion recruitment industry. Would that be? Is that a fair assessment of CVProof.com?
That's a very fair assessment indeed. So what we're really trying to do, and our motto is securing the next job standard. That means using the blockchain technology, we really want to bring in new best practice and a new standard in the job market, where we will be able to authenticate CV credentials, be it work certificate, training assessments, medical certificates, you name it. You know, in industries like aviation or medical, it's highly, heavily regulated. However, currently they're facing a lot of issues, and those issues are having not only economic consequences, but also health issues. You know, when we're talking about medical, let's imagine that your surgeon is not actually a surgeon, or that he did not go through the educational process that he's saying that he is. Same for a pilot. So these are obviously extreme cases. When you look at the industry in general, we came to realize that the level of fraud was very, very significant.
The level of what?
50%.
The level of fraud.
The level of fraud.
The level of fraud.
Okay.
Is very significant. You're talking about 40 to 50% of your CVs that have either a small white lie, on the period that you worked on, or your scope of responsibility, to something a little more dramatic when it comes to faking your diplomas or even experience.
So it happens at all levels, from very, very bottom, entry level positions all the way up to, I was reading about certain people that were actually jailed and fined, very hefty amounts for lying on their resumes and being put in these positions that would have, impact on a lot of people's lives, essentially. So they face consequences. But one of the things I was going to ask you, people do, like you mentioned, people do put white lies on their resumes. Everyone sort of embellishes and tries to sound as good as they can. But taking that ability away from an applicant to a position, doing it on CV Proof, but at the same time, you're incentivizing them to participate in the program. Tell us about the incentive that they have.
That's correct. Not only, and this is, I think, the beauty of the blockchain technology. When we conceptualized the product, obviously we were focused on addressing that business need and problem, and then we came to realize that we could actually do much more with the token economy that goes with the blockchain. And the idea for us is to create a fully fledged ecosystem, and this is why we created the ink token. And the ink token is going to be the currency that we're all going to use when we transact on the CV Proof platform. And not only a currency as US dollar or any other fiat currency, it will enable us to do a number of things, and mainly to implement this new revenue sharing paradigm, whereby any actor of the chain will actually get a remuneration based on the value that they generate. If you take any example today, let's take LinkedIn, for example, which is also a great platform. But when you're actually posting a blog, or you're putting your credentials on LinkedIn, you're not getting anything, right?
Right.
The recruiters and the employers are paying directly LinkedIn, and you as a candidate, you're actually the source of that revenue. You're actually the asset, and for this you're not getting anything. So
Right.
that is the main change, which I believe will really be quite spread with the blockchain technology, which is tomorrow every data owner will be entitled to receive a remuneration, because at the end of the day it's their assets. Right. So whenever you apply for a job, it will cost you token. Whenever you're being chased and you're being interviewed, you as a candidate will receive token. Every transaction basically will have a token transaction behind it, and the actors will be the one benefiting from it.
Even the universities, for example,
as CV-Proof, as a platform, yes.
You're paying for more opportunity. The opportunity, that seems like they're endless if you're in the market.
Yes,
right.
That's correct.
The opportunities
That's
seem endless, right? And that's something that's so disruptive. I don't think anybody has been able to sit here and say, "Hey, you have endless amount of this."
Yes, yeah. I mean,
and we're talking about opportunities and careers. Is that right?
That's correct. And let me just give you an example.
That's huge.
What we also focusing on is obviously you will have a lot of services that is correlated to the job market. And as CV-Proof as a platform, what we will really focus on is enabling users to actually create their own services, right? So in this respect, and this is where I agree with you, it's really handless in a way that we will be able to create innovative services that does not exist today, or services that actually exist but that do not have the right platform to actually develop.
Right.
So in this sense, users will have that freedom to offer new type of services, and this is what we want to really focus in developing from a technology standpoint.
Well, it was very interesting, honestly, because what really has been attracting us lately is people who are using the blockchain in very different and unique ways, and that's honestly what I really like about it. What comes to mind recently, a lot of people are comparing the cryptocurrency market to the .com bubble, of the late 1990s, around the year 2000 in the stock market. People are kind of comparing the two and saying that watch out, because there's going to be winners, but there's going to be a lot of losers as well. So if we can get your opinion on that, Frederick, what do you think will separate essentially a decade from now, the Amazon from the, pets.com?
Yeah, is this a birth of something here?
So
right? That's what.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think will kind of separate? What will be the thing that kind of
absolutely
separates the winners and the losers in the long run?
Okay, I think very similar to the .com era, where you had a lot of new projects coming in, and you had obviously a lot of scam. It's exactly the same thing that is happening with the blockchain today. You have a lot of projects coming, and we know that probably 90% or 95% of them will not survive. But when you think about it, survive. and all of
Right.
actually technology.
Needs,
Okay, me, this is what will really make the difference. You have when you look at the past 6 months, 8 months, with the hype on the ICOs, you have it started with a lot of the tech guys running after the technology, jumping into the market, even sometimes before being ready or even before having fully conceptualized that product. And probably what you see now, and a rise of a lot of projects now, it's running after business itself. So for me, it's really finding the right balance,
Yeah.
and making sure that all of the as TV Pro, for example, we took the time to prepare the project. We took the time to make sure that from a product standpoint, from a market product fit standpoint, that we were ready and that it made sense, so that when now we are out there on the market preparing an ICO, we feel that we have done the right right preparation.
Perfect. So let me ask you about your ICO. So can you tell us a little bit of,
will survive and will make a difference.
Could you tell us a little bit about what the ICO and how you can get involved and what an ICO really is? A lot of people who are listening to the show kind of are just really getting into it. So
I mean, I'm sure you want to promote your coin, right?
It's an initial coin
So
offering,
what do you advise these listeners to go to? Can you do let me ask you something. Can you do a promotion on coins? Has that been ever done, like a pre-sale?
Oh yeah.
Do you guys throw a big party or
Yes.
online and
Yes.
do you okay?
Yes. So for example, we are currently doing a pre-sale where we're offering a 50% discount.
Oh wow!
Prior to the ICO of the product sales itself. Now, why do we do an ICO? Because there are other means of funding, but I think what is truly important with an ICO is that it gives you the opportunity to actually get the adhesion of new users. So basically, it's a way for us, to put our project out there, and to get a validation of that project. And I think it's super important, and that's new. The other element is that with doing an ICO, you already create a community, and creating that community, you get feedback. I mean, just look at the interaction that we get on Telegrams with questions, questions that can be on ICOs, but also very much on the technology, on the business itself. And I think that this interaction that we're creating with the community is new, and this is what makes the difference. And for us as co-founders, obviously we're doing an ICO to fund the development of the company, but at the same time, we're able to create a community, and that is for us the key criteria.
Excellent. Guys, did you have any other questions for Frederick?
I think he covered a lot. I mean, that's really an interesting concept you guys have.
Yeah, it's really a very interesting.
Telling me a lot about it.
It's fantastic.
Do you have any partners in the field, Frederick, that are also in the business, that are working on some good stuff coming up?
Yes. So typically our own team, our own tech team is based in Switzerland. They call papers.ch, and they've been working on some nice ICOs as well. We have some really tuned in, and it's really great. we're really benefiting from their experience. You might have heard of the Elenity ICO back 6 months ago. So we're working with those guys, and it's really great. But we see a lot of nice projects as well out there, be them to improve the blockchain technology, or sometimes they're very controversial.
Mm-hmm.
You take a project like Banco, for example. I find this extremely interesting because the protocol that they're putting out there is not yet proven, of course, and that's why it's very, very controversial. But I think that if that works, that again will bring a new economic paradigm which we will be able to use and to really fight the volatility. So you have a lot of super exciting projects.
Right. It seems like there's a running theme.
Well, the running,
as well, directly related to CB proof.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome.
It seems like the kind of the similarities between a lot of the projects is a very interesting concept, and we're looking forward to the implementation and seeing, for them to actually
absolutely
to take off, because practical uses of the blockchain technology, I think, is what's essentially going to.
Everybody's capitalizing on that, and you mentioned economy.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're creating in a sense.
Right.
We're creating our own
new economies.
Yeah, economies.
Yeah.
Which is great. Well, we're excited to have you on here.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
We're going to be tracking.
Thank
you so much.
Yeah, it's 8:20 in the morning, so thanks for waking up so early.
Yeah, we're going to be tracking CV proof over. We wish you the best of luck.
We'll be talking about it. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah, all the best and safe travels, Frederick.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. All right.
So that's that was nice. It was nice.
Great.
Yeah.
It was cool to get an inside perspective on that. It's set on here. 1 second.
All right.
Sam, what's sorry. We're gonna get you back on here.
We didn't forget about you, man.
That's funny.
That was fun.
Sorry, man. This is guys, second so.
No, but
we'll get better as we go. We promise.
Yeah, no. At the end of the day, here's the cool thing.
I think I don't know what's happening right now. It might be down right now.
So you saw at the end, he mentioned the economy. That word just keeps popping up, man, more and more.
Yeah.
These sub economies, they're just.
Yeah, they went down, but I'm just gonna put it back up.